Okay, so we are back on the local job today. A little bit different. Last time we were here, we got concrete panels being fitted, there was some rails going in, the roof was on. Obviously it looks completely different now, so I'll show you some of the cladding. This retaining wall is in here. So that was the bit that we were mentioning, how we were going to retain the ground, hold it back, so now you can see it. So as you've seen before, the ground is sloping away that way, and then we wanted to put the retaining panels in here so that we can give this floor area here to put the grain dryer in. So we've got a 1500 retaining panel there, we've got a metre here and a 500 or 600 mil panel there, and then basically what we've done is we've made them fit to the foundations and these retaining wall stanchions. We've backfilled the ground, so that in there now is full from the existing ground level in stone as we've built it up in layers. So we've done a layer, compact, a layer, compact, a layer, compact until we've got to the required height, and then this basically now just wants finally trimming through, and then we can concrete that floor inside. Again, we've got some hairpin holes on the inside of these stanchions because they don't go right the way up. It just gives some extra support that we can then chase back through to the main stanchion over there. So then there's a rucker cladding that's gone on as well. So we've cladded that internal gable wall. Now if you look close up the top, you can see the flashing detail is quite intricate on what we do. We flash round everything, round every Z purlin. So there's a lot of hand cutting with tin snips and stuff like that, and then the guys will fit them, and then basically it'll cap that off from any vermin being able to get in or out of the building. And then there's foam fillers in the cladding as well there. The spill flashings or the shedder flashings, they go from the panel back up to the cladding rail to stop any grain or material that you've got in the building going out and any vermin coming in. We've obviously got the internal gable, and then this end is what we would class as square to eaves. So square to eaves means, so eaves is the side of the building where the gutter is, effectively. We come across in a straight line there. Now in this scenario, we've gone just slightly higher than the eaves, so obviously you can get in and out. And then the little triangle that you can see on either side there is behind that is the haunch of the steel. Now personally, I don't like them on show, because if you've got the cladding across square and then you've got the haunch sticking out the bottom, it's a bit like a mini skirt on a fat lady. There's a bit of bum hanging out the side, you don't want to see that. So we bring that down either side, that just covers them bit of side bum with a mini skirt. Barge boards go on. Again, we take the time to notch the barge board intricately round the end of the gutter. It looks neat, tidy, and also any water that's coming down will then run off on an angle and drip off. So this sort of cladding is box profile. It's 0.5 mil thick because it's on the side, so it's a wall profile panel, and it's a plastisol leather grain finish. So there's two types of finish that you can have on your box profile sheeting. One is plastisol, which is what we use all the time, which is coated with like a leather grain, or finishes a leather grain, but it's coated with like a plastic coating. That's the best that you can use. Or you can have polyester, which is basically just the aluminium sheet, or the tin sheet should I say, that is just painted. Now that marks really easy, it doesn't look anywhere near as good, and I don't think the lifespan is probably as good either. So we stay away from that as best we can, although it's a little bit cheaper. We mainly stick to the leather grain plastisol finish. In fact, next video we're going to go across to MCS, which is the firm that we use to supply 99% of our box profile material. We'll show you guys how the whole process of plastisol or box profile sheeting is made, because basically it comes on like a big roll, like a toilet roll, and they put it on and it goes through a series of rollers and it pops out and it is a box profile sheet like that. So we've got Mr. Critterford's van here. So the guys are here now fitting all the electrics. They've pulled, I think, some of the cables. We've put all the ducting around the outside of the farm to bring the new water supply and the new electricity supply through from the mains board round, pick up some of the other buildings and basically supply this new building here. So I think they pulled all the cables in, and I think now they're getting ready to start stringing up lights and power inside. Like I say, all the panels are fitted. So again, the retaining panels are in the back all the way along. I think the last time the ends weren't fit, or this end here. So they've all been fit. Now all the material, as in the crushed stuff that we crushed here, has been brought back in. We've leveled that up again, up to a height. So this basically wants a final trim through now, and then a bit of capping put in on the top ready for concreting, which we'll do in, I don't know whether it's next week or the week after Dave's coming back to do that. So all the panels are in. Now on a grain store, we seal all the panels as well. So basically we've got a mastic then that seals all the joints. So we'll do both sides. So one, there's no water ingress from the outside coming in. And if it does get in, it can't get past the inside. And vice versa, any grain or oilseed rape or whatever they've got going in here also can't get in the nooks and crannies of the panel. The tops of the panels, like I said before, they've got the shedder flashings on. So they get notched all around the stanchions. We fix into the face of the panel. So we drill a hole in the face. We then put a roll plug in, and a timber tech is what we prefer to use. And then in the top, they're stitched down into the top of the rail. So again, no material can get out, no vermin can get in. And the shed of flashings are designed to be 2 flashings per bay. And when the flashing comes in and the flashing comes in, and it would lap, but by the time you've notched them to go into the stanchions, there's a little gap left in the middle, and you fill that with what's called a butt strap. Don't get excited, Clayton. So this is what I'm on about, butt strap. So basically, this is the material that the shed of flashing is made from, which is roughly a 1.6mm thick galvanised flashing, and that is the entire flashing that sits on. So that sits on the panel there, it sits on top of the rail, and then this is the butt strap, effectively, that goes on the middle to fill the gap between where the 2 flashings finish. So all these have got to be notched in places. So at this end, where it goes onto the stanchion here, you sort of notch it around the stanchion so it slots in, and then in the middle, there might be the odd sag wire that comes down or sag bar that you notch around again. So all the cladding is pretty much on. They're just finishing off that side and the rest of the gable end. You'll notice up there is a square hole formed out of coal roll, which is similar to what we've just showed you on the big site for the windows. It's not a window, it's a fixed blade louver that's going in up there. So I'm not going to open it because I'm not yet ready to fix it, but a fixed blade louver basically means this is like a cassette that slots in and we clad round and over it. So that flashes, this side here, flashes over the side of the existing cladding that we fit. This here, the cladding sits over the top of, so we slot that in, if you like, behind. Any rain coming down the cladding comes off and just falls away. So they are fixed blades. What I mean by fixed as opposed to adjustable is if you think of a blind like you have in the bathroom or a kitchen at home, they've got that little rod that sticks up the side, you twist it and it turns the blades up or down to make it either so you can see through or not. So these are fixed, so it is to let air flow through. Within the middle of this, there's like a steel mesh net that stops any birds nesting or going through it into the building. So it's just for ventilation purposes. So you've got the option, you can either have this on its own just as a vent, or you could have a fan fitted to this on the inside. So again, it would suck or blow depending on which end or where the fan is of the building. Okay, so finally, just finish off. A lot of the drainage is in, all of that is done. So pretty much the next time Dave and the guys are back, it's going to be getting ready for concrete, which will bring you a separate video on that. Last bit of the cladding works really is when the cladding is fitted, it obviously comes in full length square end sheets. So we put them on as a whole, and then we'll come down with a nibbler and cut them off to the rake of the roof, and then your barge flashing comes over and caps it with your foam filler on the underside. Something slightly different with this one, again, probably visually something to do with planning, but a lot of the time the cladding will finish level or just below the top of the panels. This here has been brought down, so again we've railed down to this level here and the cladding comes lower. So visually now, by the time this is all landscaped back and we've put this stone track in here and that's all done, you won't technically see a great deal of panel along this front here. Or certainly from the distance over the way, you won't see that. All you'll see is the green end of the building. So then all we've got to do then is connect the down pipes in, put the corner flashings on, should I say, and then when the corner flashings are on, put the down pipes on, connect them all into the drains, and then we've got rid of all that water, because if we had a downpour while we were concreting, we wouldn't want any water ingress whatsoever, so we want to get everything connected up before we start concreting. So I'm going to go and have a quick chat with Chris. I'm going to leave you guys with a very quick shed of flashings, cladding, electricians are here montage. So if you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll catch you next time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.